Next up is a senior from our North Dakota chapter. Jacob Haugen is a biology major with an emphasis in pre-med, and not only has he served his chapter as president, vice president of administration, but he has also attended every DU educational program: LI, RLA, Dual, President's Academy, and GSI. And he's even attended the NIC's Undergraduate Interfraternity Institute. Jacob is here to talk about his experiences in Delta Upsilon and coming together with his brothers to improve his chapter. When Jacob joined his chapter, it was struggling to stay afloat, despite being a past sweepstakes finalist. As he and his brothers work together, their passion and teamwork have left him inspired. Jacob knows that DU is bigger than one chapter and one man. Please join me in welcoming Jacob Haugen, North Dakota, class of 19, for his Ignite, No Storm Lasts Forever.
All right. Besides for the Canadian chapters, for those of you who have never been to the tundra of Grand Forks, North Dakota, there are two things that we do: play and watch hockey, and drink, to mainly ward off the cold of negative 60-degree weather. Yes, it's insane. And if you're not 21 and can't go downtown, you go to the fraternity parties on Frat Row, which were known for their alcohol, music, and God knows what else. As a freshman, that did not interest me in the least. Now I know, a chapter president not planning on rushing a fraternity because he thought the stereotypical frat was what everyone was. And I know I'm not the only one in this room who's a chapter president or former who didn't plan on rushing. Anyways, when I came in, I had my friends that were going to go to UND, and I knew I was going to meet more through classes. So when recruitment came around, I wasn't going to go, and my friends dragged me along anyways, thinking that I would have fun. And I did. I even skipped work a couple times to go to a few of them. And midweek, I was my first exposure to the fraternity called Delta Upsilon at an event outside my dorm. Now, at the end of the week, I received a few bids from other houses, ultimately deciding on Delta Upsilon because they seemed like a solid chapter at the time. So I went through the associate member process, getting closer with my associate member brothers, as well as the brothers of the house. But when my class was initiated, everything that we knew and loved about this chapter changed, and not for the better. So how did I get here on this stage as a chapter president, as someone who regards his brothers, including all of you, as close as family, when originally I regretted every decision joining DU as a freshman? That, my fellow brothers, is a story of many trials, successes, failures, determination, and most important of all, brotherhood. So going into spring semester, half of my associate member class was now on exec. Realizing that our chapter was going down quickly, we knew something had to happen. Unfortunately, nothing did. The only thing that happened were yelling matches at exec meetings and more yelling matches at chapter. And ultimately, the morale of the chapter by the end of the semester was at an all-time low, where successes of brothers were turned negative in some way, shape, or form. And so at that point, I asked myself, why did I join? So this is where my journey begins. My personal growth as a brother, as well as my journey to try and find an answer for my chapter. So as soon as finals were done, I took off to Minneapolis, St. Paul to hop on a plane and go to Jamaica for GSI. Not really knowing what to expect, since I was the first in my chapter to go, I expected hard work, maybe meet a few guys, and then be on my merry way. Thankfully, I couldn't be more wrong. Quickly, shameless plug for you who have not gone to GSI and have the opportunity to do so. GSI was so much more than just work, just hanging out. All of it together created an atmosphere where I felt what real brothers should be like, brotherhood should be like. The hard work, the meals together, and just hanging out with those brothers that I met gave me that sense of belonging that answered the question of why I originally joined, why I wanted to be a part of that brotherhood. Now, don't get me wrong. If I were to hang out with those guys every hour of every day for more than a week, I don't know if I could stand them. But that's just part of being brothers. And I know when I left Jamaica, I was very proud to call each of them a brother. So leaving Jamaica, coming back to the United States, I went to UIFI, the Undergraduate Interfraternity Institute. I'll be honest, this was more work than Jamaica, because this is where the real personal development began. Not only did I have to ask myself, why do you, and why I went Greek, I had to further analyze myself and who I was as a leader, what I wanted to accomplish, and many other things. And they pushed us to the breaking point. But what I left with there was knowing how to not only help my chapter, help other chapters, but also help Greek life as a whole. And thankfully, I met many people there that have been supportive throughout this process of bringing my chapter back as well. Then I went to Dual, where I met Noah Barton. And for those who haven't gone to Dual or haven't heard of it, he brought up the hero's journey, which is essentially a journey that every main character of a book or a movie goes on, ultimately reaching its climax, and they all go home happy. The first part of that is a call to action for the main character. And I will say this, my call to action was when I realized my chapter was sinking. And so I went on this journey, trying to learn, having help, and so I was still at that point learning on how I could help. And it just put in perspective how long this could take. That a chapter doesn't just come back overnight. So then after Dual, having analyzed how I lead the best, ended the summer with LI, my first LI. And that was an amazing experience where I got rejuvenated on my belongingness into you, as well as just meeting up with brothers I met at GSI, Dual, UIFI, and through other programs as well. But then I got the news going into fall, being all happy, ready to bring my chapter back, that my big brother, or as Iowa State calls them, pledge daddies, was going to drop. Because even though he was one of the main people trying to bring our chapter back, he did not believe it was worth it anymore to continue. So now I had to find my new base to try and bring my chapter back and to continue having all this weight at that point what I felt was on my shoulders. So that is probably the first lesson I will tell you all is even if you feel it's all on you to do something, more than likely you cannot do it on your own. You need to find help to be your support as well as to help you along the way just to get stuff done. So I went to my favorite brother and pledge brother as well, Jake Schwartz, who together we rallied all of our brothers with 3 goals of recruitment, grades, and brotherhood. Recruitment didn't happen. It was good, but not as good as we wanted. Grades I'll talk about in a second. But the brotherhood, even though coming in was still very rocky, at the end of the semester, I actually felt like I was part of a brotherhood again in North Dakota. And it showed in how we treated each other, and it showed in our grades, which is just as important as that brotherhood. And then I got elected president. Now, if I didn't feel like it was all on me before, I did then. And probably what I was most terrified about was after trying to rebuild this brotherhood, and one thing I was told by previous North Dakota presidents is that you can develop a disconnect from the brothers because you can't always do what you want or what you used to do with them. And so I was scared. Thankfully, because my pledge brothers, as well as our new initiates, kept me involved, kept the brotherhood there, and this last semester was great. And then I went on GSI again, which was amazing, and now I'm here, which I'll talk about in a second. So to wrap up, I have 2 pieces of advice. One, I've already said. If there's something that you need to do where you have to take charge, everything is on you. Find help as support, and find help to help you just get stuff done. Second, for struggling chapters, there's no easy answer. One Rotten Tomato can ruin it for you, but it'll take an army to bring you back. Now for this LI. Looking around, coming back after being at all these programs, I don't even know how many people here, and it rejuvenates me every time, seeing them again, catching up, and all I can think of is these are the people that have supported me through this very difficult journey of bringing my chapter back and realizing why I am a DU, why I joined a DU. So I want to end with thanking you all for also being DUs. Thank you.